everyone. It's Black History Month, or it's the end of Black History Month. February has gone by really fast. So I have severe art block right now. I haven't really done a lot art related in the last year, and so far we're about to be in the third month of this year, and I still haven't really done much in terms of art. So I decided to challenge myself by drawing black fictional characters. This is the first art-related challenge that I'll be doing on this channel, and we're gonna see how this goes. Now, the video you're watching is a time-lapse of me drawing, which means that the sketch is already done, and I'm recording the commentary after I finished it. The first character I wanted to draw is none other than Abigail Lincoln, better well known as Numbuh 5 from Codename Kids Next Door. Now, usually when I draw human characters, I kind of try and put my own twist to the characters instead of like drawing exactly from the source. But this time around, I just didn't do that. Though I will say I probably added way too much detail to her hand. The hand altogether just does not go with the rest of her. If I drew her in a bit more of my style, then the hand would make a lot more sense, but instead I drew it more faithfully to what the character actually looks like in the cartoon. It took me roughly 10 minutes to draw her. One day I would like to draw her again, along with the rest of the KND. So the next character I'm drawing is Cyborg from DC Comics, specifically Cyborg from Teen Titans, since that's the version of Cyborg that I'm most familiar with. I have to be honest, I don't really read a lot of comics. I'm more of a casual comic book reader. That being said, just like Codename Kids Next Door, I enjoyed Teen Titans growing up. That being said, Cyborg was pretty challenging to draw. Though I spent less time on him than I did with Numbuh 5, I didn't want to spend too much time on details, but I tried to make it as detailed as possible with pencil. With Cyborg, it took me roughly 7 or 8 minutes. Moving on to the next character, sticking with comic book characters, we have Storm, and I wanted to draw her in her white suit, as seen in the original X-Men animated series, as well as X-Men Children of the Atom, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I especially pulled from an illustration that was specifically made for X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Which, side note, Bingus is a really awesome illustrator. He's worked with Capcom for so many years. He's especially known for his Street Fighter illustrations. Anyway, Storm definitely took the longest to draw out of all the characters that I've done so far, especially when you consider her hair. Once again, I didn't really get to draw her in my own sort of style, at least not really. I probably would have made her eyes bigger for one thing. I'm also not too familiar with her suit, and I definitely should have used more references, so that way I could get more acquainted with what her suit looks like in different angles. I try not to make too many adjustments to her face, because after all, I am using sketchbook paper, and eventually all the graphite is just going to add up and make everything a smothery mess. I will say that limitations can really challenge you. It's one way to discipline you into being a better artist. So moving on to the fourth and final character I'm going to be drawing, because I don't have any more room for more than 4. I tried to see how many characters I could draw on one page, and it turns out the max amount is 4. Otherwise, I would have to make all the characters smaller, which would require me to do a lot more headache-inducing adjustments. And let's be real, we're already in way too deep. So the last but not least character I'm going to be drawing is none other than Huey Freeman from the Boondocks, a show that I should not have been watching when I was too young to be watching it. And even though it's an adult show and I watched it as a kid, a lot of stuff really went over my head. And as an adult, I appreciate it a lot more because I understand it a lot more. But yeah, of course I had to draw Huey, one of my favorite cartoon characters. So for this, I took some inspiration from what was supposed to be illustrations for the canceled reboot that was supposed to be airing on HBO Max back in 2020. But due to a lot of stuff just never happened. I'm not going to talk about it here, but you guys can do your own research on that. I'm sure you guys already know if you know. As usual, I was aiming to try and draw it somewhat in my own style, to the best of my ability. I gotta say, looking back, I really wish we could have seen how this series would have turned out. I would have especially liked to have seen what the characters were going to look like. I've seen people complain online about how the new art style looked. Personally, I think it looks great. Or at least I think it would have looked great. Storm and Huey took me the longest to draw out of all 4 characters. Storm taking roughly 15 to 16 minutes, while Huey took about 14 to 15 minutes. So now that I'm done drawing the characters, the only thing for me to do now is just focus on the details. Or at least adding as much detail as I possibly can. Which, of course, when it comes to pencils, involves shading. Other than that, there's not really much to say here, though I will say I really like how this sketch turned out. It also reminds me of just how fun it is to draw with pencils. Like, it doesn't even have to be in color, it could just be in pencil and it still looks good. That being said, I'm using a Pinelli sketchbook set that one of my friends from work got me for Christmas. And so far I'm really liking the pencils, and the sketchbook is really good too. This thing comes with 80 sheets, so I'm going to be using this for quite some time. One more thing I will point out is that there are some parts of characters that I had to erase to make room for other parts of other characters, if that makes sense. For instance, I had to erase part of Numbuh 5's hand so I could make some room for Huey's hair, which is a small price to pay. But yeah, this was fun. I enjoyed this. This was an interesting experience for me because I got to draw 4 characters I've never drawn before. I've never really done an art challenge before, and I have said I do plan on implementing more art videos into my channel along with the gaming ones. This video could probably be considered a step in that direction. I look forward to doing more art challenges in the future. In fact, I've already got some video ideas in my head. One day I think I'll transfer this sketch onto some other paper so that I could color it with color pencils or markers, or maybe even scan it and do it digitally. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Have a blessed day.